lose it all and don't give in. When in love like we're rolling, got you falling on my skin. Take your chance, this is it. Oh, nah, nah. Until it's written in the constellations, call me feeling dangerous, risk the odds, I'll face the consequences. Life written till you lose it all and don't give in. When in love like you're rolling, got you falling in my skin. Take your chance. This is
a new season with new tracks and a larger grid than ever. The VOR Indy NXT Series is back for another 3 weekends. And we're looking forward to all 3 of these rounds this time around. We got some great tracks on the lineup, and we're going to begin it at the Milwaukee Mile. Bit more of a road course than an oval when you really break it down. Extremely unbanked throughout. Takes a lot of endurance and a lot of struggle to get around there, but we have a double race spectacular as ever lined up for these drivers to take on. I'm Howie Burroughs with production, directed by Julien and Altena, and track cameras by trackcams22.com. This is going to be a good race, much like last season, but with more drivers on the grid. A double race setup. Qualifying just wrapped up, so we should be able to get right into the action. 2 quick ones around the Milwaukee Mile, the oldest operating speedway still in the world. I'm a big fan of this one as well, although I haven't driven it terribly much in the open wheelers. This is one where I'm used to it in stock cars, and it certainly is just a little bit more of a challenge in these things. Now, a fun challenge to the grid, especially today, is if they stay green for long enough, they might be able to make it to the World Cup games on time. If they wreck too much, then they've lost their own opportunity to do so. So, let's see how well they can hold up. This is a track that requires you to give a lot of quarter and patience and space to others. Passing is going to be hard. You want to wrap the bottom. You're not going to get too much out the high side due to a lack of banking on the circuit. Drivers just gridding up right now. It's Sebastian Kinder on the outside of the front row. Should be able to get our starting grid. It's Matthias Strauss right up next to him in P1. Sebastian Kinder lines up P2. It's Johannes Lepet in P3 next to Mike Jensen in P4 on the third row. I should have this myself, but I don't. Road Neftink's next to Oman Lull, league organizer throughout this. So Kaya Elderson's next to Katie Polak just behind. And on row 5 is Adam Williams and Michael Teichmann. Into 11th and 12th with John Christensen and Toby Deck. And I actually have the rest of the grid now. One more row. It's Jason Lowe and Anthony Heitzmer lined up, ready to roll. 252 lap races. They will be capped at 25 minutes if we end up overrunning on both. Inverting the top 10 for this double header. 12x penalties, although if you end up taking some bad contact around here, you might end up down and out of this race in general. It's a bit of an unusual short track. You do actually get long straights. Unlike many a short track, it's certainly longer than the average around here, but it doesn't become any easier. Tough curbs on the inside of the corners are all too easy to bite at. You probably shouldn't. Also has the double surface, of course, with the asphalt on the inside groove. It's going to be hard to pass up around the outside. This is very much going to be a race about being patient and forcing an error out of others rather than forcing big dramatic moves. Set over with us for race 1 at Milwaukee. Looks like we have rolled this one off 1 to green. So with that, our drivers are locked and loaded and just about ready to go. Leading off our front row, Matthias Strauss. Pace car likes to pull in very late around here. Watch those barrels. We don't want to see any horrible incidents as we are green here at Milwaukee. Already free wide fanning out in the back rows. And all the way to the bottom, John Christensen. It's Matthias Strauss. It's Road Neftink even. I can't recognise the VOR drivers from a million miles away. Christensen, the back F-Tink's in the turquoise, obviously. And he's the one that jumps all the way up to the front. Stuck to the outside is our P1 startup. We have our first yellow, who I'm not going to miscall John Christensen for this time. Not sure. It's a 13 car, I believe. Not the P13 car. That will be Michael Teichmann, the 35. Is around and he's taken some bad damage. Well, isn't it just like that around there? We've had our first wreck and it didn't take terribly long. I'm trying to get an early view before we get the replay up in just a minute. Michael, it does have some blinking in and out before the incident kicks off. So pretty much a car just teleported in the middle of the field and then wrecked itself out easily that way. One down. I don't think anyone else is grievously wounded. Shout out to the fact that, yes, it is Roden F near the top and not John Christian. I've got the blue ones confused. I know Aman Lowell's in the purple. I know that's one that you don't make the mistake on. But the other two, I've done this enough time. I should be able to recognise them. Here's our wrecked car. This is going to be hard to catch a replay of just because actually the car did a lot of blinking out just before the incident. It sort of disappears and returns into actions. It's out of 3 and 4, but as you can see, it's gone and it will be back in a bad enough time to be turning itself up and out into the wall. By the time it returns, it's understeering and ploughing up into the next car next to it. That one's eternally just, you're not going to be able to get an easy angle of that unless maybe you chopper another car. Yeah, just like that. Ploughed a little bit wide in the turn into the wall. And just like that, first caution of the day. We do have a 25-minute cap on these races if these last too long, but hopefully they won't. Anthony Heitzmer was also caught in that, and he's catching the back of the field. I don't know if he's going for pit lane or not to take a fast repair, which is available for these drivers. He is, so he must have taken a bit of a wound in there and is coming in. Should be able to rejoin this pack, though, ready for the race, as our pace car does have its lights out. Matthias Strauss did keep the lead, even though he held the outside line. That surprised me. I did see F-Tink jump to the bottom, and I thought maybe he'll be clear out an exit, but Strauss is actually enjoying the downforce and is enjoying forcing this car through those turns on that middle line. It worked out for him. Sebastian Kinder's in P3, Johannes Leppert in 4th, and Mike Jensen's in 5th, with Adam Williams in 6th. We'll reverse the top 10, so 3 drivers here will not get their reversals. We are ready to pull the pace car in. Heitzmer is trying to rejoin the pack. Won't actually be there in time, but is on the lead lap. For everybody else, away we go. Actually, I do believe even Michael Teichmann is out there on the track, but he is even further behind. The pack might catch him sooner rather than later. Here comes the field flying through the turn. Single file out for our top 3, then it's double file for Leppert and Jensen. Leppert to the inside, able to get it clear for now. And that is Christensen, correctly identified this time. It takes 1, who is trying a slightly different line. Don't think Dirty Air will be a race ruiner here like it necessarily is in the big boy IndyCar. And in passing here, probably is easier than it is there as well. But these cars do have plenty of aero. They are going to need to slow into the turns just a bit, but they can certainly put power on the mid-turn and the exit. Bit unlike the stock cars I'm used to around here, really. I always do enjoy in flat tracks, to be honest. I find them a bit of a unique challenge. You love them or hate them in VOR, though. You truly, truly do. Leppert's on the rear end here of Kinder. Wants to make it to the inside. He's been trying to make his way back up to the P3 he started out after a poor start, and that's effortless. Some drivers maybe just giving a bit of quarter to people that they know want to make their way past. Here's Adam Williams to the bottom of Kaya Erik Ellison. But that exit speed's actually quite good on that high line. Keeps him even. Elderson's still ahead on exit. Now to the bottom again goes Adam Williams. Both really having to give quite a bit of space to each other. And I'm getting a little bit worried. Tiny amount of contact, but the two are just about okay. Up front, F-Tink has passed Strauss though pretty effortlessly. At the same time, now Strauss is going back for it. What I say about it being hard to pass, maybe I'm wrong about everything. That top lane is proving a bit more useful than I imagined. There's a tiny bit of banking up there, and you can use it to get some momentum, it's seeming like. Now, F-Tink to the bottom, use the exit speed. It's a bit of a sacrifice in 1 and 2 to gain in 3 and 4 game around here. You go wide in two of the turns, and then you can take a dive to the inside for the next 2, and they're trading back and forth. That's a wreck car on the road. It's Katie Polak. How did that one happen? It was contact with the 83 of Toby Deck. Polak's on the outside, Deck's on the inside there in the orange. Deck sends it very low. Polak is sort of being understeered into there, not completely clear. May be able to make it back to the pits for the fast repair though. She's going to need to be quite quick on the chase though, because the pace car is here. Polak's in the box now. Fast repair out. I think she will make it to the back of this pack. She's not getting a whole lot of fuel as well. Away she goes. She is going to make it. A few more drivers making their stops as well. Don't think a stop should be mandatory around here, although you could potentially gain a tyre advantage. We'll have to see how that really plays out in the long run. There's more coming up on the VOR channel, and not just talking about the return of the VOR IndyCar Series, which, given that I'm doing some overnight work in order to get that show off the road, it's on my mind quite a bit. We've got quite a bit before then. In fact, International IndyCar Series at Indianapolis, always a classic. The EUSOF Indy Open at Road America, alongside with the iRacing Indy NXT Series alongside. International IndyCar goes to Pocono. That's one of their real super speedways. And VOR Indy next race is on June 27th at Road Atlanta. That's an exciting road course. I'm very, very happy we have that one down. Looks like the field is just about rounded up and ready to go for their next restart. This time, Roden F-Tink is lined up. Drivers have been warned, by the way, they can't go below the yellow line or even the white line on this track. You can't fully cut the curb. Sometimes NASCAR races are a bit more permissive here, but that has been completely ruled out. Probably the amount of aero on these cars means you could get quite the big advantage down there. Pace car ready to pull into the lane. Fashionably late. Don't bump into him on the way. We are green. It's a bad start from P3. Leppit. Kinder's already up the inside. You see him right in the back of your shot. Flown on by. Too wide for Maney. Rose back. It's only our top two that have really gotten away with it. Leppit's been able to recover though on that high side. Christensen is going to the bottom on Kinder, who finally has the same paint on my iRacing as he does on the broadcast. That seemed to be wrong all of last season, and I could never explain why. Here's Jensen up top, just behind in the Dale Earnhardt imitator. Probably don't want to make contact in quite the same way. Christensen stuck behind Kinder. Now here comes Jensen to the inside. You do have good momentum off that bottom line for sure. I'm not sure which line is going to be the most effective around here, to be totally honest. Everyone's still in this race, but Michael Teichmann's a lap down everyone else's lead lap on the track. Still seeing in the back, that's Teichmann's internet situation there in the back, and that is indeed what led to the first wreck. Here comes Lal, sending it on Adam Williams, washing wide. That was almost a total disaster. I was getting ready to call a big wreck there. And do we really need 3 cautions that quickly? I do not think so. Keeps it rolling this time though. Tucked behind. There's a little bit of draft you get down these straights. I wouldn't call it significant, but I would say that it certainly helps you stay near somebody in tow. Everything's running away now. Very, very good lap times on this track, and 4 attempts down the line. Williams continues to hold the line. Very difficult line to be passed on as well, sort of hugging that middle. Now Lowell gets a shot above. Momentum's going to be strong, but actually Lowell has to check up there on corner exit in order not to run into Williams. Doesn't take the run offered by that high line, and so we're back where we started. And Williams was a performer last season. So I feel most of the drivers from last season here, plus a couple of more. The more the merrier. Here's Amon Lowell's run now. Didn't have to check up. Has the inside line. Doesn't get alongside. So the game here is go high, lose the corner, but win the straight. Have momentum to catapult down the straight line going into the turn. Amon Lowell's actually going to get ahead now this time around. Still not clear. Has to back up on the inside. Now Williams is going to have that outside line to run. Leppit's also making a move on Strauss further up the road. Lowell just absolutely going to send it. Who knows what happens? We don't need any more cautions while we're here. But it's starting to spice up for P2. Even P1 is sort of within tow, but P2 I think is about playing the same game right now. Here's Lowell. down the inside one more time, not really being able to make much purchase. Actually just gets the slingshot that time. What am I saying? Clear this time. They're side by side for P2 further up the road. Strauss to the high side, dropping back. Leopard gets it done. Efting's be able to get away even more. They did sort of crawl it up to Efting just a little bit, but now he's 7/10. Strauss has a good run. Leopard's going to hold that bottom though, not leave much space to run in, and that's the best defensive line around here. In the middle of the field, Jensen's pretty close to Christensen. Nose to tail a lot of the running here, and now drivers are starting to settle into their runs just a little bit. Interesting that any of these drivers did a back to stop. They probably didn't do it 4 tyres, but let me tell you, none of them have been able to advance beyond their initial position, so if they took new tyres, it hasn't done much for them. Obviously many of them will be taking small repairs instead, but it's worth noting that they haven't really gained from even doing that on the track, and really it's quite hard to make up significant position here. John Christensen's the only one that has up from P11 to get here, and he's looking to try and get another one on this 3-car train. Lepit's been catching up to Eftink in the lead. It's not crucial quite yet, but that could evolve, that battle. I'll call if and when it does. Near on near the middle, Deck to the inside. With Heitzma. And almost contact again. Always a little bit scared watching these cars run up to each other's quarter panels quite like that. I guess they don't have quarter panels, do they? That really is sports car speak right there. Gets in my head. Johannes Lepid's really looking for the lead now. Not quite completely alongside, but I think this battle for the lead is starting to evolve. Now he is on the exit along the straight with Road and Efting. 1 tyre to 1 tyre. Now ahead. Lepid's been able to creep up and get it done. Also has the fastest lap of the race. We're 24.6 faster than Efting's 24.76. Alan Williams dropping through the field like a rock and having some side-by-side contact with Heitzma in the back too. Almost a bad wreck. I think Netcode actually saved them. Toby Deck comes flying through. Tries to make a spot between the 3, just about gets it done. Not at all dangerous. Quick little look back 2 laps ago. This may have been the contact. That was a different contact, in fact. Not even the one I spotted. That's Polak and Williams. That's what would have sent him back, and then that was what I caught. Almost sending him down and out. I think probably saved by the network gods. Toby Deck just ate a black flag, by the way. He's hit the incident limit. Yet another bad piece of contact with the 51. Adam Williams bounced off him just a moment ago in live pictures, and is now having to run down the pit lane. Here's a contact with Polak again, a little bit of understeer, but I think the Toby Decker one, of course the black flag, is a few laps where we might have to spool the replay back forwards, is a little bit more significant here for this race, because Toby Deck's well and truly out of this now, has to drive through the pit lane, has already served the black flag, but pretty much out of here. It's on the black flag that happened. It did happen around 3 and 4 here on the back straight even, so that's actually 1 and 2. They never taught me how to count, by the way. The car on the outside takes a bit of a pounding into the wall, even if Toby doesn't really see much. Here it is. Oh, another, like, it's brutal hit. It's almost a wreck again. That puts Toby Deck on the incident limit. 12x. Some of these drivers have been getting saved by the gods just a little bit. On the road is Williams. I would say getting saved by the gods there. Not much has happened on the track while we've been away. A lot of the gaps have actually advanced now. 1 second to 1 second to 1 second. Our top 3 pretty much clear, but Matthias Strauss is sort of leading the next chain. Kinder's behind alongside Christensen. Left pit has had some good battles with F-Tink. Be able to get away this time around. Strauss trying to hold off a chain here, hold off a bit of a train of drivers. Kinder's not really made the move. I think drivers have, over the course of the race, been working out that top line is effective. On my screen, I've actually had the new little iRacing track map widget that I don't even remember enabling. And I sure didn't have it for the broadcast I did yesterday. But it's just on my screen here today, and I gotta say, it is charming. It's nice that we have this. Yep, it's running up to a lap car, by the way. Not actually laps yet. We'll be lapping Toby Deck in just a minute, who did run the drive-through. Didn't actually put him a lap down. Now 1.8 seconds away, so pretty much the worst thing that could happen to Leppit now is crashing into him, and I figure that won't happen, so let's focus on the battles here in the middle of this field. But just know that that lapped orange car is sort of going to start coming up on the field. Here comes Jensen. Christensen fast up high. We have 12 laps to go, but worth noting that this session has another 4 minutes 15. I actually think we will be going to time. Just about. Or in fact, we might go to time and get the white flag at the same time the field would get the white flag. So it'll be close and it won't really matter that much. Basically, if we lose a lap, we lose a lap. But there are 3 minutes left on the session and 11 to go, which will take about 4.5. Maybe they won't miss the World Cup after all. The time limit's cynically set so that people can make their group stage games. Out of all the places for England to bring it home, it would be humiliating for it to be in America. So I don't really care. That's right, man. This train still single file and nobody quite having the run to make the move. Williams passes Polak near the back on screen right now. Polak now to the bottom. Washes up, not quite contact, that was risky. Leppit hasn't actually made it past Deck, although he's not been slowed down terribly by him. Deck would want to, I'd need to check the lobby rules actually, whether or not we have the lucky dog on. It really determines whether or not Toby Deck would really want to fight for this place. Don't think he's going to be able to hold it for very long anyway. worth noting we do have the lucky dog rule on, though, if another caution comes, we're ending this race. But that's sometimes a factor if you go a lap down due to circumstances out of your control. They did a great job of seizing the lead. It's holding on very, very well right now. The estimated time for the number of laps is about to be about 2 minutes 15. There's a 1 minute 45 left on the session. So the session is going to run out before we run out of laps, but I'm pretty sure you get the white flag when the session runs out. And if that happens, there'll be essentially no difference in laps at all. We'll have to find out, as most of this race is pretty much settled. Heitzma and Elderson are battling for P8 and make that the end of the race. Womp womp. There's some brutal contact to wrap it all up. Let's get an eye on quite what happened here. I'm checking this from above. I think I have an idea of what happened from above. Elderson's on the high side and Heitzma's on the bottom. From the angles I see, Heitzma sort of... Nah. I think that's just... That probably... You know, I'm willing to give this one down to... It looked a bit like Heitzma jumped high from my view, but then from that view, he doesn't at all. He just sort of... I think it's just sort of a racing incident that happens when you run this close on the high side. Heitzma hasn't turned in enough. At the same time, Elderson's turned in a little bit much. And when two drivers have a different idea as to how they're going to take the turn, accidents happen. Bad accidents happen. They don't actually lose that many positions as a result of this. Although Elderson gets flipped out. Interestingly, Elderson was able to keep the car rolling, and because he'll be taking P10 and he'll take the pole in next race. Heitzma hasn't gotten the car rolling, has been passed by everybody, has taken worse damage, and is now last. I'll let them fight that one out between themselves in the chat afterwards. We'll be wrapping up this session now, as this session has officially run out of time. So when the drivers cross the line, I expect this will be it. We don't see the white flag, but the white flag probably comes out on the next go. Or maybe the caution system will just confuse us eternally forever. Either way, it's lap 51 of 52. So 52 is going to roll on by. What is that pace? What is this pace car doing? Is this pace car going to give us a racing lap? Are we going to get the Michael Masi Classic here at the Milwaukee Mile? Race is out of time, but iRacing might not care. We are going to go green to the white flag. Amon Lal, this is so not right. If anything ridiculous happens here, then just know that it was an automated decision. And a questionable decision is always okay if you just tell the end user that it was automated. We're learning that one for the business world. Matthias Strauss might want to stay in line, though, before the start. Amon Lal just got black flagged for that funny business. Race is over. And Amon Lal, who just ran up to the whole field under the green flag, eats a black flag at the very end of it. Who knows? Maybe it's justice. Yeah, so the session did wrap up, but the game didn't give us accurate flags. That was the answer. All is good in the world. Worth shouting out right now, by the way, while we're here and while we line up for the next race at this racing series, is also, as ever, brought to you by iCoaching. Get instant and unlimited access to the entire iCoaching setup vault with iCoaching's All Access Pass. Download professionally built iRacing setups for IndyCar, Next, and TCR cars across the official calendar. Visit iCoaching.co. That's iCoaching.co for more. And also worth shouting out the track cameras here provided by Isvan of trackcams22.com. And with that, our field is rocking and rolling. And actually, it's Toby Deck that's on pole position. Kyrie Alderson is in P2. Katie Polak lines up in third. It's Adam Williams, Mike Jensen, John Christensen, Sebastian Kinder, Matthias Strauss, Road Neftink, Johannes Lepit, then it's Michael Teichmann, Aman Lau, and Humphrey Heitzmer. Jason Lowe is entitled to return to the track, if he chooses to. Oh, that first race was won by Lepit, so much happened that it's worth shouting out that Lepit does take the first win of the season. Katie Polak just missed the start, changed ARB settings, and apparently doing that reset the car in some way. Or changed car setup settings and then didn't make it back to the grid in time. So Katie Polak won't be taking the start, and that means that I believe Mike Jensen inherits the P3 starting place on the inside row. The sun is setting on the track, but we'll be here in plenty good time, and if not, then you can blame whoever set this up incorrectly, but we should make it pretty much the end. 25 minutes is not enough time for a sun to set fully, surely. Away we go. This time I'm going to call him right. He's Road Neftink that dives to the bottom, makes it back in time, and it's Christensen to the outside, make it almost 4 wide, but Toby Deck's good launch maintains his lead. Contact in the back. Somebody has lost a piece of their front wing in that. I'm not sure who, but there is a bit of pandemonium in the rear of that field. We stay green, stay rolling. It might have been forgiven front wing contact. Up front, Alderson to the inside of Deck. Fanning out wide on the track. I don't see any car of a missing front wing. It might have just been a little bit of forgiveness, as some would call it. Michael Teichmann's blinking out rapidly again, though, so if that's the cause of another yellow, then don't say I didn't say so. Top 3 very close in combat. Deck still has the lead. Alderson not quite making it to the inside. Here's Hatsuma in the back. I can confirm I've done a front wing audit. They are all in one piece. Alderson dueling with Jensen. Deck's going to enjoy the clean air, but he will get attacked at one point. We've seen that passes for the lead are possible. Alderson's going to try. Not quite. Williams is very slow in the back, so I actually do wonder if he did get caught up in some contact that has damaged his car, because he is running very slow. I mean, I assume he's putting all his pedal to the metal there, and that something's up with that car. That's what we call good faith. Here's Hatsuma. Heitzmer, but I've been conditioned into calling it Hatsuma, I think. Pretty sure it's Heitzmer. In fact, I'm almost certain it is. It's a bit like how it is Julien Altena. But how many times have you heard that the right way around? Side by side for P2. Jensen and Alderson. Deck's enjoying the clean air, I feel. It's about all you can hope for, but no one else is really getting the line they want. Jensen's ahead for now, not clear. Kinder's also dueling with Michael Teichmann behind. duels everywhere on the track. Toby Deck running away, but we've seen drivers catch up once they've gotten clear out of battles. Here's Kinder on the high side of Teichmann. I think Jensen's going to clear Elderson. I think, looking at it, Jensen's clear for P2. Elderson can make another shot at this, but he's going to go for the inside. Here's a replay of the pass, because sometimes even the best of us press buttons accidentally. I do it as well, so I'm like saying that one from the heart. Now Jensen's going to want to try and hunt down Deck, who has the fastest lap so far, but part of that's just having the clear air to do it. Going to be mindful of how much of that you cut. I'm not completely sure what the rule is, but I assume it's the tub. Well, it's a piece of the car that I have a mixed understanding of in time. Ain't that a throwback? If you know, you know, if you're watching this one back. Here's the tangling around the middle. F-Tink and Christensen. F-Tink's ahead in the turquoise, Christensen in the light blue. To the high side, F-Tink trying to run. These are some of the most laps I've seen Toby Deck run in the lead, but he's doing so pretty in a pretty commanding position here. We have seen drivers eke out that time over time, but clear air is the best place to be. Further back as Christensen and Leppit. P2 in race 1 up to P7. Our winner of race 1, Teichmann's up 5 places as well. Pretty much single file for now, but someone will try and turn to our battle sooner rather than later. Because that's what we do around here. I'd say there's more going on than there was at Iowa. Leppit trying to pass F-Tink up to the inside. F-Tink not giving him all the space in the world, but just enough. Leppit trying again, F-Tink up very high. Christensen drops a few. I think he might have had a run-in with the outside wall, a very brief one, that just a very brief tag that slowed him down, not like a whole slam, but that's killed momentum. Heitzma and Christensen still dueling. This view just a little bit ahead of F-Tink, that's Teichmann. There's Christensen weaving up and down the track to try and get through. Running this nice and green, just in time for a group stage. Pretty sure that's the collective motive. Here's Strauss on board. I really like the variety of lines over the course of this race. I enjoy Milwaukee in the big IndyCar, really, even though it's a very different kind of race. It's very strategy heavy, passing's a lot harder. But it does have a special kind of character in these cars. Lyle having a bad run. He's not had a fantastic race in general here, but this hasn't helped him. Little bit of contact. Oh, let me check. I'll check the onboard. I don't know if there's contact, whether he actually just checked it up to avoid it. Here we go. He just checks up to avoid it. Gets out of the way. But he started 11th, pinned in 11th. Heitzma and F. Tink still dueling. Christensen's in the wings just in case. Now we're going to have a 3-track season this season. Up next is Road Atlanta. Love it. Oh, that's all I'll say. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then we end the season on Phoenix. All double headers the whole time this time. Phoenix is also a lot of fun in these, to be honest. It's a good lineup. Running across June and July as we do approach the VOR season proper, one I'm very much looking forward to. So Heitzman's cleared pretty effectively, and now it's Christensen and F-Tink doing the same duel. But this race has been a little bit calmer than the first one, which is unusual. Usually there's a lot more chaos in the reverse grid. Usually the reverse grid is where horrible things happen, and we wonder every week why we reverse the grid. Been a lot calmer this time around. It's Sebastian Kinder on the replay. Even I missed this, but... That's a clean pass. That's what we got here today, folks. I think drivers had to really learn the track in the first race, and now in this one they've pretty much like worked it out. But it's leading to quite a bit more peace. Another pass on track. Strauss trying to beat out F-Tink. Still side by side on exit. So we approach the halfway mark, and we passed the halfway mark actually, by the definition of that term. For the lead, Toby Deck's finally under challenge. Mike Jensen's been sort of chasing him down for a while. And finally, it's actually going to happen. To the bottom. Deck hangs on to it. Still side by side, almost wheel tapping. They're good for now. Jensen a lot faster, sends it though. And now it's a question of how many places Deck could hold on to. Every place is going to be good points. But Jensen wants control of this race. Elderson is 6/10 off, chasing down Deck. But that's a gap we have seen made up before, so keep an eye on that on your tower. While we look at some of the closer battles on the track, like Leppit behind Elderson for the 3rd place position. Close in line. Laps to go around here, and it will fly by. Here's Leppert to the bottom, gets blocked off for a second. But eventually Alderson gives up that block, still enough to actually cause him to check up. Just starting to get a little bit aggressive. One more look at that. That might be considered a block by many definitions of the term. Leppert's going to need to have another shot. Elson chooses the bottom this time. Leppert's up high. Not quite momentum though, doesn't really get it going. Could happen down this straight though. We often see Highline makes the straight work. Couple more laps of wear and tyre down, I think this might actually work out. We'll need to get the slingshot done into corner entry though. Well, I do like the schedule this season, and Manuel seems to keep rejecting my calls. Do keep telling him Talladega would be a good idea, but he just seems to never pick up the phone. So if he's listening now, let's do a triple header at Talladega. There's the pass by Leppert on the outside, finally gets the draft in tow. Alderson is obviously not out of this yet because the dynamic just flips once you do the pass one way. Drivers running out of time to make their moves, but we've seen fewer of them. Christensen's also sort of chasing down Teichmann a bit further back. Jensen took over the lead after a bit of a climb up from fourth here. That's a lovely view over Milwaukee. Apologies for the quick technical issues. We hope to be back. iRacing is fickle, thanks for the patience, but also thanks to the speed of Julien's PC. In this time, Leppert's been able to make his way past Toby Deck, been slowly crawling up in time. Sebastian Kinder is also battling Elderson as I speak. Leppert just got it sort of cleared out easily in time. Drivers have been catching Deck in time, and he's not really been able to respond. A P3 would still be a good result for him, though, on the track. Closest battle was with Kinder. Teichmann's also side by side with Christensen. It's all starting to amp up near the end of the race. About 10 laps to go. You know, I still run iRacing from my standard hard drive, so when I have a crash, it takes a lot longer to get back than that, let me tell you that. Kinder still dueling with Alderson. Alderson on the bottom, that's Kinder up top in the white. Heitzmer's in view as well. This will be for P4. It's going to be hard to chase down Deck. He's a second down and there's not that much time to go. Heitzmer's a part of this. He's going to stay with them on the top side. Has to back out. Now he goes to the bottom. Still no run. He would send it free if that was an option. I know that one for sure. The lapped car, Adam Williams, who has been running very, very slow for this whole run, but he's been pretty much letting cars through pretty comfortably here. But you'll see him on the way as these two remain dangerously close. Heitzmer's going for it again. 3 wide for a second, won't be into the turn, washes up high, doesn't quite make the bottom. Ellison gives enough space though. Kinder might be clear of all this. Takes just a little bit of opportunism. All of a sudden things change very quickly and Heitzmer got his foot down on the pedal in time. Ellison started second, has done nothing but drop down. Is he on board from some of that? On Ellison's car. Back just a little bit more, and there we go. We'll catch part of that battle as it happened and sent up the inside, very, very close to contact, but actually does move up once he is the alongside call. Running out of laps, running out of time. We will make it to laps and we will make it to them for sure this time. 1.5 minutes of running to go. 4 laps. We've stayed green this whole run. Which means they will make it to kick off at the exact time of the checkered. Here's Strauss with Teichmann, who's also been dropping. Strauss makes it clear. I wondered if Leppert was going to catch Jensen, but has actually just fallen back in the last few laps. Here's Kinder. That's not Kinder. That is indeed. I thought I was calling out Kinder on the camera, and that's just not his car. It turns out. These things happen. That one, I can point like a kid identifying things on the side of the road. That one's Christensen. Yippee! P7 on the road, dropped down for P5 on this run. Mike Jensen took control of the lead, chased down deck when it mattered, and is going to take home our second win here at Milwaukee. From 5th to 1st in race 2. Mike Jensen takes it. Leppert, very strong finishes by the way. Probably the best points, probably some of the best points out of the race will go to Leppert for 2 very strong finishes. I don't have the full maths. So we'll mark up our final results. Mark Jensen wins race 2 ahead of Johannes Leppert. Sebastian Kinder finishes 3rd, ahead of Toby Deck, Anthony Heitzmer, Kaya Ari Elderson, John Christensen, Michael Teichmann, Matthias Strauss and Aman Lal. Strauss just came out of nowhere. There are no countries like that. Aman Lal finishes 10th, had a road F tank. Adam Williams, Katie Polak and Jason Lowell did not take the start of race 2. Should have a chance to speak to some of our winners if they choose to show up. Sometimes they don't. We'll give them a few minutes of grace, though, on the track, as probably everybody has immediately tuned into their TV channel of choice to watch their World Cup game, as we have hit exactly on the hour. Don't say we couldn't time it well. Don't say we couldn't. Mike Jensen's here. Winner of race 2. Mike Jensen. You might unmute here just a second, but you did win race 2 there. Had to chase down deck to get it done on the road. Talk us through your time at Milwaukee.
Well, My first stint was a little bit. It was alright. I mean, I got stuck in dirty air, so I couldn't really move up in positions anyway. Now, of course, in the second race, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna start P3. I obviously know that the bottom line is gonna be faster than the top initially, and so I got P2 by overtaking P2 there, and then while I was running, I suddenly started to run a little bit of a different line going into the corners, and I noticed that I was catching up to Toby there. So I began running that, and I think I made like half a tenth every lap until I passed him. Eventually, as the run went on, I noticed that my fuel was getting quite low, so I just started fuel saving and secured the win that way.
Worth shouting out, by the way, for the audience, I do think Toby Deck actually ran out of fuel on the line and lost another place to Kind. That's how they swapped. How's your road racing? We got Road Atlanta up next, and it's a very tricky one.
Ooh, well, I do love Road Atlanta as a track, although obviously I feel like I'm better on the oval side than on the road side, so I'm going into Road Atlanta with an attitude of, all right, I'm just going to see what I'm going to get. If I, get a top 5, I think I'll be happy with that.
Any other thank yous or shout outs?
No, not really. Just, for everyone that's watching this, thanks for turning up, and I hope that I made some entertainment tonight.
That's Mike Jensen, a P5 and a P1 to the line here at Milwaukee. And we have Johannes Leppert, who got some even stronger results on the line. I believe a P1 and a P2. Probably our greatest point winner out today. How was your day?
Oh, I mean, no, my day was actually quite fine. I mean, I didn't think that I was going to be in this position after practice, because I was really struggling in practice. But I think what I actually won out wasn't necessarily pure pace. I think it was that I just managed the tires a lot better than everyone else, because I was just, I mean, I know in race 1 I wasn't that far, much quicker, but in the last 20 or so laps I just kind of flew away, and it was kind of the same here. People's tires just fell apart, but obviously Mike managed to save enough tires in race 2 to just stay in front of me. But no, it was really nice working through the field in race 2.
You have a good load of points coming out of this round, but will Road Atlanta treat you the same, do you think?
I mean, that's the difference between oval and road course. I tend to think I'm better on ovals than road courses, but with enough practice, I might be able to finish into the top 10 and get a reverse grid. So hopefully it'll be fine. It's Road Atlanta, right? So yeah, it should be fine.
Any other shout-outs?
I mean, I guess a shout out to my team boss, Mike, for being the easiest guy to overtake in the race 2, where he just kind of said, "Go down my inside, Johannes, go, go, go." And, that was a nice overtake. Very easy, didn't even have to fight.
Well, you're very confidently a points leader coming out of this race. Best of luck the rest of the season. That's our P2 and P1 finisher, Johannes Leppert.
Thank you.
I have a disconnect button right there, and I almost hit timeout instead, which would have been highly embarrassing. Wraps up the racing action here today at Milwaukee. A nice flat fun oval, and one that I think was a lot more dynamic than you typically see around here. So plenty exciting. Road Atlanta's next on the docket, as mentioned. Plenty of elevation change, a thrilling up and down roller coaster. I love this one in all sorts of cars, and you can tune in June 27th, 2026. Why even include the year? Maybe it's next year. Maybe we're leaving you hanging. No, that's just in 2 weeks' time. June 27th, yes, I almost thought it was Friday. I should probably just stop talking right now, but not before I thanked everybody, of course, that helps bring this. I've been Howie Burroughs, and the show has been produced by Julien Altena, with track cameras by trackcam22.com, and the IndyCar TV overlay by Andrew Schulte of SKS Graphix. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you further down the line on the VOR channel.